Good afternoon, guys. I'm sharing my screen. So, guys, only I received assignments from only 6 members only. What about others? Okay. So, assignments is mandatory. So now I am allowing. So for next session, you guys, could you please complete your assignment and then continue? Okay. Today we'll discuss about the workflows. Workflows is also very important. So whatever the topics we are discussing, like going forward or so far, whatever the topics we did and whatever the topics we will be covered, every topic is important and every topic will be available in the real time. Okay. So today we'll discuss about the workflows. Today we'll discuss about the workflows. Okay, the basic definition for the workflows. So generally, the basic definition for the workflow is nothing but a flow of steps, a sequence of steps. So in the name only we have the meaning, right? A flow of steps, a flow of steps, a flow of steps. Generally, I will tell you like some real-time examples. Through that, I will try to understand about workflow. So for that purpose, I will take MS Paint and then so generally we can take, for example, um, once again, yeah. If you take any product-based company or if you take any manufacturing industry, how they will follow the process generally. Okay, first we need to design. So first step is design, right? First step is design. Okay, and after the design, you should review like how the design will be, so it is comfortable with us or not. So you should review. The first step is design. The first step is the design. Okay, first step is the design. Okay, so after that you should review, meaning like it will be comfortable for us or not. There you can cross check, meaning first you should design and then review. So here also that is okay. Then what we will do, so we can start the productions. We can start the production. Okay, after that, after the production is completed, again we will check, that is testing. Again we will do the testing. Again we will do the testing. So finally we will release. So this is the life cycle of any product. If you go with the cars, if you take any company of cars like Tata or any Suzuki, any company of cars, if you take any product, that this is the product life cycle. This is the product life cycle. First you have to design and then you should review, and here it is okay, then you can start the production. After the production is completed, you should test, and then finally you can release. Finally we will release. So this is the life cycle of any product. This is the life cycle of any product. Similarly, workflow also have multiple steps actually. So that is the reason workflow we are calling as the flow of steps. Workflow we are calling as the flow of steps. Okay, so what are the flow of steps? Could you please explain any with the example, based on any example? Yes, sure. So generally, Generally, I will take the newspaper. Uh, then in newspaper name, I would like to take some the Hindu.com or any other Times of India. Anything you can take. So I'm taking this one as the example only. Now, okay, simply I hide two persons. Those two persons are completely freshers. Okay, and I would say I given work to them. So whatever the work I have given to them, the work is they have to create the content which is related to some BML avatar. BML avatar. Okay, you guys try to understand. So I am running a one newspaper and I hide two persons. So the work of each person is they should create the content. They should create the content. Okay, so the content they has created. The content they have the two persons has created the content. Okay, so without taking they don't know like how the religions and how the things are, how the culture will be in the Bangalore in BML outer. If the content they release directly, then what will happen? So the first thing, the reputation will down. Okay, reputation will down. Okay, reputation down, and it causes might be some issues. Some despites also rise. Okay, so these are the things, right? So that is the reason before releasing the content, they should the content should approved by some person, someone. For example, if they create the content, if they create the content and for the review purpose, the content they will move to one person. The person might be his team lead, and the person might be his manager. Any one of them, the content, whatever the content they had developed, they has created, the content they move from to their team lead or manager. Anything you can assume. If the team lead, if the person is okay, satisfied with that content, then only our content will be published. Then only our content will be released. The same scenario the same scenario we do in the workflow as well. The same scenario we do in the workflow as well. I hope this is clear. So I hope this is clear. Generally, so workflow is meaning it is the sequence of steps. So where we cannot directly release content, we cannot directly release on the public. Why? Because so it might without for reputation purpose. Okay, for reputation. So generally, we will create the content, and that content we will move to the some like our team lead or our manager, and if that person also okay, then he will give the approval. He will give the approves. Then our content will move to the furthest process. Then our content will move to the further process. Okay, here this guy also we can I would say you can make multiple steps. You can create multiple steps. So I will show you, for example. Okay, you can create multiple steps actually, not only these two. For example, I am telling these two. So in the real time, there is no restrictions. You can create number of steps actually. For example, so the content here, the content author will be there. So the content author had developed content, and then that content first approval you should give the approval for the team lead. Okay, he is the team lead. Okay, team lead is satisfied with that content, then again the team lead will move to the manager. So once the two persons get approved, then only our content will release. Then only our content will release. Not only two persons, you can add number of persons. We can add number of persons. So this is the scenario actually. This is the scenario. Okay, so where the in the workflow the content can move from uh, through the process of steps, through the sequence of steps. Okay, so this is the general examples. This is the general examples. Okay, so after that, in the workflow, we have the multiple steps. For example, if they will ask like, what is workflow? Could you please explain workflow? So then what we will tell. So workflow is a content where the content gets approved and uh, where the contents gets approved, it will send an email to the all team members who are the part of workflow, and where you have the multiple steps. Those are like participant step, which is used for to give the approval for the content, and where you have the process step which is for triggering our actual workflow. Okay, this is the thing we have to tell. Now, what we will do generally. So workflow, what you can remember, a workflow is a process of steps, a flow of steps. A flow of steps is workflow, and after that, a flow of steps, and I will write the workflow, the definition. Workflow means where the content, not only content, workflow means where where contents where content gets approved gets approved gets approved, and it will send an email to the all team members all team members whoever the whoever the part of workflow part of the workflow whoever the part of the workflow, where we have multiple steps, where we have the uh, multiple steps multiple steps like participant step participate participant step participate step. So where participant step, where the content gets uploaded, the content gets uploaded, and we have process step. We have process step where content gets triggered. Content gets triggered. Okay. So this is the actual meaning. Like if you have the 3 years or 4 years of trying, you are looking for 3 years or 4 years of, I would say, uh, level interview. So at the time you can tell to the like this, meaning workflow meaning where the content gets approved, it will send an email to the all team members and who are the part of workflow, and where we have the multiple steps are like participant step, where the content gets approved, and we have the process step where the content gets triggered, where the content gets triggered. Okay, so generally, so where the workflow will be available, generally we have the local store data html, and after that we have the option that is the tools, and then after that we can have the option that is the models, workflows and after that this is the process of how to create workflow. Very important topic, so I will show you. Normally you can go with the in local start.html, and now you can go with the tools, and we have the option workflow. Click on the workflow, and these are the options are available. these options are available. Like basically what are the options you have? Models, instances, launchers, archives, and failures. Archives and failures, right? The model meaning, so for creating the workflow, models are required. So the models will be, we can create here, and then we can start the workflows. Next, archive meaning archive. The completed workflows will be available here. For example, if you create one in your project, if you create the 10 workflows, all 10 workflows will be available. So in that archive, you can see the all how many workflows are running currently in our project. So our successful workflows will be available here. And instances meaning all running workflows are available in the instances module. Next, failure meaning like due to some reasons some workflows also fail. That failure workflows will be available in the failures module. So launchers is the module. So where here also we can our workflows we can launch by using the launchers. Our workflows can launch our by using the launchers module also. These are the consoles actually: models, archive, instances, failures, and launchers. Failures and launchers. Okay. So completed workflows are available in the archive. Running workflows are available in the instances. Failure workflows are available in the launch failures, and launchers. Launchers is the console where we can launch our workflows. Where we can launch our workflows. Okay. So I hope this is clear. So what are the consoles are available? Models, archives, instances, launchers, and failures. Launchers and failures. Okay. Okay, so generally this model is also called as like container, or you can say blueprint. For example, in core Java, class is the blueprint, right? So similarly, model is also similar to one blueprint. Also can call it as the container. Okay, so simply we can create one workflow, and then we'll see how we can create the workflow, simple workflow, and then we'll see how it will be. Okay. So if you want to create any workflow, the step is you can come to the models, click on the models, and you can open. After that, create. You have the create option, create model. Click on that. Here you can give the name. So in my case, I am giving the name which is test. Some name, model name I am giving. In our case, you can give any name. So I am giving test digital. Okay, my workflow name is I am giving test digital. In your case, you can give any name. Okay, I'm click on done. Okay, so this is the workflow, and click on that. Click edit option. Click on the edit option, then you can get the options. So by default options you can get. So this is by default options, so you will get like this. So now the thing is, here we have the steps. One is the process step, participant step, and the second one is the process step. So participant step meaning the content gets approved. Like we will give one person, and after the content is created, okay, the content will move to the participant step. Once the participant, whoever the person is available in that place, the person give the permission, meaning the person approves our content, then only the content will release into the public. Then only the content will release. If not, the content won't release. That is the thing you have to remember. Okay, so for approving purpose, I am taking the step, that is I'm deleting this one. This step is not required. Now I am adding participant step. I'm adding participant step. We can look for these many steps are available. You can look for the participant step. Okay. I am click on it, and click on the configure, and here you should add the person. Here no need to give anything, and here go to the user and group. So if you want to send the email, through the email also you can send the notification also. Through the email also you can send the notification. So as of now, I am simply giving the permission as the admin, okay, administrator. I am giving as the permission approval. I would say I am adding the person. The person is administrators. I am giving, okay, and then click on tick mark. Then this is fine. Okay, so once the content is created, if this person, whoever I added till now, if the person give the approvals, then only my content will release. Okay, so after that, this is okay. Like if you take not only one person, if you take the multiple persons also, if this person approved, then the content will move to the next person. There also the person will approve, the content will move to the next person. This is the hierarchy actually. This is the process, a flow of steps actually. Okay, not only one person. If you want, you can add multiple persons. Okay, in my case, I am taking only one person, that is I am taking as the administrator. Okay, so next step is the process step. The question is, what is process step? The question is, what is process step? So process step, what is the purpose of process step generally? So we can the process step where, for example, if you take the node actions, like if you want to add the node, delete the node, and modify the node, and so those all the actions you can perform in process step. All the actions you can perform in process step. For example, today what I will do, I will write a backend logic, and that backend logic I can trigger with workflow. I can trigger with workflow. How can I trigger? You can trigger by using the process step. Okay, if you want to anything, if you want to add the page, and if you want to like add the component, or if you want to add anything, if you want to add any node or anything, so that this is the input actually. So where we can add that, where we can add here, where we can add here. So today what I will do, simply I will write some backend logic, and then that backend logic I can map with this process step. Process step. After that, we can start workflow, and then we'll see how the results will come. Now I can go to my backend logic. I can go to my backend logic, and where we have the folder package, that is the workflows, right? In that workflows, I am creating the class. I am creating one class. The class name I am taking some test digital, some test digital one two, like that I am taking as the class. The class name you can take anything, no issue. Okay, so I am taking simply test digital. Click on that. This is the normal Java class, right? This normal Java class I am converting into the component. The skeleton is the same, should convert into the component. And after that, at the time of writing the workflow, you have to import, you have to implement predefined class, that is the workflow process. Predefined interface, that is the predefined interface. You have to import the predefined interface. Implements, you can mention workflow process. The name is, the interface name is workflow process. So whenever you are looking for the workflow process name, so it will suggest two names. Among those two suggestions, you should select Granite only. You should select Granite only. Okay, so in this case also I am simply selecting workflow Granite only. Okay, click on that, and it is give you suggestions, meaning workflow has the only one method. Workflow has only workflow is the interface, right? It is having predefined methods. So that is the execute method. So in that execute method, it is having three parameters, right? It is having three parameters. So simply what I will do, I will click on that. I will click on that, and here these are the parameters. So here I parameters I will change, which is like mm, work item. This is the class name. This is the object name. This is the object name. Okay. Similarly here also workflow sessions, workflow session, and here you can type with the metadata, metadata. So among those three you can take anything. Among those three you can take anything. Okay. Here the question is, what is the purpose of like execute is the method which is coming from the workflow interface. That is okay, good. And the question is, so in that method it is having three parameters. One is the work item. Next, meaning three object is having. Work item is one object. Work session is workflow session is one object. And next we have the metadata map is one object. One object. So what is the purpose of each one? What is the purpose of each one? I will use the node. We will get the models. So there, after that you can model, and then you can create. You can create and then edit. Edit, there you can get the options. That is okay. Now my question is, what is the purpose of work item? Work item object. Work item object. Okay, I'm not taking class work item object. So what is the purpose of work item object, right? Normally you know nodes, right? So you can perform the actions on the nodes. So for example, you can add the node, you can delete the node, and you can modify the node. These are the actions. These are the actions. So if you want to perform any action on the nodes, if you want to, if you want to perform any actions on the node, if you want to perform any actions on the node, on the node, then we will use the work item. Work item. So here you can mention, we can trigger, we can trigger the nodes, we can trigger the nodes by using work item object. Work item object. So this work item is also called as, work item is also called as work item. Work item is also called as payload. Also called as payload. Okay. So generally here where the content can trigger. So there you can mention payload meaning where contents get triggered. Payload meaning where content gets triggered. Content gets triggered. Contents get triggered. So these are the three things you should remember in case of work item. So if you want to perform any actions on the node, you can use work item and you can trigger the nodes. And a work item is also called as payload where content gets triggered. Where content gets triggered. Where content gets triggered. Okay. And after that we have the one more parameter, that is the workflow sessions, right? That is workflow sessions. So what is the purpose of workflow sessions object generally? Workflow sessions object generally, what is the purpose of workflow sessions generally? So generally, for example, so if you want to deal any communication with the database, okay, so for that purpose, like any, if you want to communicate like any further transactions with the database, okay, we can deal with database transactions, data transactions by using the workflow sessions. So simply I'm mentioning, so if if we do any if required, if any required further databases transactions we will do. further database, further database transactions. Transactions we can do by using the workflow sessions. Okay, if any required further database transactions, if required, okay, if required further database transactions can do by using the workflow session, by using workflow session. Okay, so after that we have the option that is the metadata map. Metadata map. So generally in case of metadata map, for example, our workflows might be containing like multiple steps, like might be 10, 20. So all the steps information we can save, or else we can maintain. We can maintain as an input. We can maintain. Okay, or we can pass as a input. So at the time you can go with the metadata map. Metadata map. So generally we can maintain the information. Okay, workflow, we can maintain workflow information. We can maintain workflow information. Okay, we can maintain workflow information, and we can transfer the data also. We can transfer the data. We can maintain the workflow information, and we can transfer the data. So these are the three parameters which are coming from the execute interface. Execute method, the method is coming from the workflow interface. Okay, fine. Now if the method is working fine or not, so how you can track, where how the logger tool, so through that you can log. So private and static is the word. Final, next logger, and when you are creating the logger you have to import compulsory with the SLF4J only. Logger, SLF4J only, I have to select that one. And next constant value, constant variable, and logger factory, which is also you should import org.slf4j, and after that get logger. Now I should mention the class name is this one, digital class. Can remove this one. Okay, so here the thing is we converted into the component only, so we can convert into the service. Okay, workflow is also one service. Now you should use the interface, dot class, and then next property is immediate equal to true, and then the thing is very important thing is enabled equal to true, and then after that very important thing is how to add the property. The property here I am mentioning the property which is generally, so should mention process label equal to here I am mentioning the name is test digital. So this name you can give anything, test digital, and today date I am giving. So why I am giving today date meaning, so if I created any workflows in previous cases, so we don't conflict, so we don't so that is the reason I am giving today name. Today date I am giving 24, next 10 and 24. Okay, so property label, process label is also very important. So in the interview perspective, they will ask the question is, so how you can implement the workflow? That is the question. How you can implement the workflow? That is the question they will ask. So at the time, what you can tell? So workflow you can implement at the rate component service equal to workflow process, and you can mention property is equal to process dot label. So through that you can implement. Through that you can implement. Okay. Okay. Now this is the method, execute method. So from that, what I will do, I will take the node path, and then I will try to print that path. So simply what I will do, I will take the object, work item object. I will take work item object, and uh, work item object is the uh, object which is having multiple methods. From that, get the workflow data. Get workflow data. Workflow data is also an object. Okay, so from that again I am getting payload type. Okay, I am getting the node type. So through that, get payload type. Okay, I'm click on that, get payload type, and I can get the actually the payload type in the format of string. So that is the reason what I will do. I will store the entire thing in payload type. Payload, yeah, payload type. The data type is I'm mentioning string. The data type is I'm mentioning string. Okay, fine. Now here I will take the condition. I will take the if, and here I will pass the condition. If the what I am taking the condition, you are not get to payload. Simply you can take payload, not don't need to take the this the payload. Okay. So here what I am doing is this payload equal to, I am mentioning this payload equals to mention JCR node. So whatever the node I am calling, that will be stored here. That one and JCR path, the both are equal, then only it will become true. So here I will mention path. So whatever the path I am receiving, that path and the JSR path, if the both are equal, then only it will be true. Then only the controller will go inside. The control will go inside, and here what I will do, I will take log file. I will use the log file, and I will try to print the path, payload type path. I will try to print. So log inf log info method can take payload type, and we can do placeholder, and you can mention payload type. You can mention payload type. So similarly, this is with respect to this is the payload type. Okay, and similarly I can get the payload path. I want payload path also. So if I want to payload path, work item, and next get workflow data, workflow data, and then payload, and this payload I am converting into the string to string method. So from this I can get, the path. So this path again what I will do, again I will store in the path variable, and this data type is the string. This data type is the string. Okay, this data type is the string. Now after that, again I will take the log, one more log. So now I will print the path, actual path I will print. For that purpose, what I will do, I am copying the same log, and here I will take here as the path, and here also I will take as the path. Here also I will take as the path. Here also I will take as the path. So generally what here happening, I will mention in comment files. So here what we are doing, getting the payload from workflow. We are getting the payload from workflow. Okay, getting the payload from workflow, and then workflow item, work item, and after that we use the uh, workflow data, workflow data. So I'm using the class names, but we are getting the by using the objects. So here I'm using the class name. Work item is the class name, and workflow data is also one class name, and workflow data. And after that, so we have the payload. We are getting the payload, right? We are getting the payload. So similarly, so generally we are getting the payload. Payload meaning input. Whatever the input we are giving, that we are tracking. Here what we are doing, here we are checking the payload, we are checking the payload, we are checking payload. Here we are checking the payload. Okay, and if this one, whatever we are taking, that one and this one, the both are okay, then only it will be true, then only it will go inside and it will print. It will go inside and then it will print. Here what we are doing, we are getting the data. So generally we are getting we are getting path from the payload, path from the payload. So these are the things, these are the things, and this is the simple workflow I have written in the backend. Okay, this workflow I will deploy. I can save my file, testdigital.class, log info equals JSON path, log info payload, and path equal to path. Okay, so now simply I can deploy this the backend workflow into the AIM server. I will go to my the project, and I will deploy the one. I haven't clean install minus p upon install. So it will we are doing deployment. So after deployment done, so we can map the process step with the backend logic. So this is the simple backend logic I have written, but normal scenarios you can write the multiple backend logic that map multiple backend logic. You can map with the workflow in that process step. So that is the thing you have to remember. Any backend logic you can write by using uh, the backend files. You can write in the core module, and that files you can map with workflow in process step. So that is the thing actually. Okay, that is the thing. Okay, so build success, deployment success. Now simply I can go with my workflow. Now the I'm reloading. Whatever the backend logic I have written, so I given the name here, right? The name is which is generally this is the process label which is used to map the backend logic with our process step. With our this is the which will act as a mediator between our backend logic and a workflow process step. Workflow, the process step. Okay, so we can observe what I will do. Can configure and you can copy the name actually test digital 2024. I'm copying that name and then configure the process step. Go to process and process. Here you can look with that name. Is there any name available or not? Test digital test digital 2024, right? So click on that and so we have successfully uh, we are added the path. Okay, meaning when you start the workflow, so the process step will be triggered. The process step will be triggered. Okay, so it will trigger whatever the backend logic you have written, that content, that backend logic, it will be triggered. Okay, so simply I can click on that. After that, so this is for only the person you added here, and here we are adding the input. Meaning in my case, I have written the backend logic. That backend logic I am giving as a that backend logic I am added here. I am mapping with by using the process label. Okay, after that we should sync. So my workflow got synced, and after that you can go to your workflow models and reload the page. Now you can start the workflow. Now you can start the workflow. Now I am selecting that one and I am uh, start the workflow. So it is asking the payload path. It is asking the payload path, right? Meaning whatever the backend logic here we written here. So whatever the path we have added there, so the path you can track here. So here simply getting the payload path. Here with this statement we are getting the payload path, right? Okay, fine. Now here I am adding some payload path. Okay, and content. I'm giving some demo US and then EN. I'm click on that. Okay, okay. After that, I'm click on the run. Click on run option. If I click on the run, my workflow has started. My workflow has started. Now, what you will do? So for tracking the progress of it, you can create your own log. For that purpose, you can open your, I would say, aimstore.html and go to page
ప్రతి హీల్ స్లిప్పర్ వేసుకుంటారు వస్తుంది కొంచెం కాదు
operations, web console.
ఇప్పుడు కాదు నైట్ నైట్ బాగా వస్తుంది కాదు
Guys, please keep mute. Kirti, please keep in mute. Now I am creating the logger. Now the I will mention the logger name is digital, like that I will mention. Path above path, I will copy from there. Core and then workflows. Test digital. You have to select that one. Test digital. Click on that. Workflows. Test digital. Click on that and then save. So my log name is digital. Click on save. Okay, now again you can come to workflow. So I have successfully created log files, right? For example, now I will go to my log files, for example, AEM and author instance. Next, quick start. Go to logs and we have the digital log. If I open this one, nothing is coming. If I open that one, nothing is coming. Why? Because I'm not started a workflow. Now I will go to my workflow models. I click on that and then start workflow, and then here I am giving the path input. I am giving content, a demo, US and EN. Click on that. Okay, click on run and my workflow has started. Now where you can check the workflow started or not, you can go to your notifications and view all. Now you observe here, I received two times. I received two times, meaning I have started the workflow two times. So I'm clicking this and then here I am here the participate step. So once the mail go to the participant step, so he will check the content. He will check the content like this. You can open and you can check. Okay. So in my case, I will directly do. I have checked this content and I am sending complete. Complete meaning here I am telling to that guy, oh your content is super. I'm telling your content is super. Super looks good. Your content is looks good. Like that I am giving the comment. Content is looks good. Like that I am giving the comment and then click on OK. Click on OK. And then after that my content will be published. My content will be published. Okay, so now I will go to, now you guys see digital log. I am getting the values. I'm getting the values. How I am getting the values? So these values I am getting by using the workflow. These values I am getting by using the workflow. So before started workflow, I'm not have this file not have any values, right? When I start the workflow, when I give the approval, then my content, my content is my content has published. My content has published. So this is the thing, the generally all about workflow. So where we have the multiple steps. So through that, how many steps you added. So based on that, the content will move to all the steps. So finally, the content gets uploaded, and then the content will be published. The content will be published like this. So in your case, what you will do assignment, take a workflow, and you can write the backend logic. Simple backend logic you can write, and then you can trigger that backend logic, and then you should display this errors. You can display the message. So this message, for displaying this message, I have written the backend logic. So in our case also can do the same thing, and you can display. So whatever the path I have given there, so all the path I can get, all the paths I can get. Okay. Okay. So the next. Oh. So in your case, you can refer the documents, like for example, workflow, like you can look for Imran Khan, you will get some blogs. You will get some blogs, right? You can go through that blogs and you can try to understand. Okay, so you can refer the multiple documents, then you will get the, for better understanding purpose, you can go through with multiple documents, multiple doc blogs. So through that you can get the better understanding. Okay, so these are the models, and then instances, launchers, so like that. So content review, if the person will approve, then the content will move to the publish, and if not, if it is not, it will be rejected directly, it won't publish, right? So these are the diagrams. Okay, you can go to the box, and then you can get the better understanding on it. So please do practice multiple times, then you will get the clarity on it. Okay, so that's it today, guys. We can do the program assignment on workflows, and take the screenshot of it. One is for backend code, and then workflow mapping. So I have mapped the workflow in the process step, and take one screenshot of participant step, and you will get one notification, right? That notification also you can take one screenshot of it, publish, and then you can the final result also you can take screenshot of it, and you can share in the group. So that's it today, guys. So assignments, please do the assignments. Assignment is mandatory.